Hello and welcome to the Hidden Tracks podcast. I'm Shane Murphy, as always, your host for this podcast. You can find us on Google Podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, basically anywhere you find podcasts nowadays. If you want to look for us, our website is myhiddentracks.com. You can email us at myhiddentracks99@gmail. Our Twitter handle is at myhiddentracks1. And then Hidden Tracks 99 is our Instagram, and can follow us on Facebook. If you like what you're hearing, please 5 stars, write a review, let us know how we're doing. Also, for all the artists out there, please listen to their music. Please go out there and help them and support them through these crazy times where they can't go out and support themselves by touring and doing other things like that. So I really implore people to go out there and help not only these artists, but everyone around you. So today I'm very delighted to have Terra Lightfoot. She is a Canadian singer-songwriter, plays rock, soul, blues. She's got 4 albums out. She's awesome. I've had the opportunity to meet her, talk to her after a show, and want everybody out there to just check her out and listen to what she's got going on. So without further ado, Terra, welcome to the show.
Hey, Shane.
How are you?
I'm doing great. It's a nice sunny day where I'm at. The leaves are turning. It's beautiful.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So let's get down to the nitty gritty. How are you doing musically through these unprecedented times?
Yeah. I mean, so I put out a record October 16th, and I kind of don't know what day it is today. I'm assuming it's October 28th, but it could be a different day. So yeah, I think it was about 2 weeks ago I put out a record, and I have been promoting it in a totally new way that I've never done before. We did like an online live stream, like a global live stream on Zoom, and it was so rad. Like with the whole band, I had a great videographer, my friend Matt Dunlap. He recorded the whole thing. It was like the best quality Zoom call anyone had ever seen. It was like crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was super fun. So, but that's kind of what's going on right now is I'm negotiating, how do we put out a record during a pandemic?
Yeah. So when you recorded that, did you finish recording during the pandemic, or were you always planning on putting out in October, or did things just happen that way?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we were done mixing probably in May. So we were mixing through the pandemic for sure. I'm glad we got the tracking done. But yeah, so the record's called Consider the Speed, and now, of course, that it came out in October, I'm like, it makes so much sense that it's called Consider the Speed. I named it during the pandemic, but there was already a song on there called Consider the Speed. But I mean, everything has slowed to a halt in our industry, so of course, I love the title. I think it makes total sense.
Yeah, I mean, I feel for musicians so much right now, especially because, and I guess it's a kind of a selfish thing. I miss it because I'm missing live music, and I'm missing seeing people and supporting them live. And live streams are cool, but I just don't get the goosebumps that I normally get when I see it live, and I get to see someone perform. Like I saw you perform, and I hadn't heard of you prior to knowing you were opening up for the Posies,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, all right, let me check it out. And that's what I do. I'm like, I found out you were opening, so I started listening to your stuff. I'm like, wow, this is pretty fucking rad. And then I go see you, and as so goes, it was so cool after the show. Talked to you, and I told you right to your face, and I just said, you're a fucking rock star. Because it was insanity. Like, you just owned that stage, and you basically made me forget I was there to see the Posies.
I remember that party after the show, like downstairs in the Bowery.
Yeah.
And I mean, when you were just talking, I was thinking about, missing the vibe of live shows. I'm like, that was such a fun one. And like, I'd always dreamed of playing the Bowery. Like I wanted to do it for so long. So it meant the world that I got to go there with the Posies. And I remember their show that night was also so rocking. Like
I have pictures of you like bent over backwards with your guitar when you were on stage with them playing, and I was just like, it's on our website, and I'm just like, this chick is amazing.
Thank you.
Not only talented, like your stage presence was on par with anything I've ever seen. Plus, Bowery's my favorite venue in the world.
It has a vibe, right?
Yeah, it's just so awesome. And the basement downstairs, the basement bar is just like to hang out there before the show and then after show with the artists. And it's just like, and the place, it's small, but it feels big, and just everyone's there for that show. And that's what when it comes to smaller venues, that's why I like smaller venues, because the people that are there. I would say 99.8% of the people that are there for that show. They weren't dragged by somebody. They're there. They mean to be there, because you can only have like 720 people there, I think.
Right.
So it's pretty small. So new album comes out, and this is where I want to get things started. I want to talk about your musical journey. And what I mean by that is when you're a little kid and you have all these sing-along songs when you're in music class in grade school and stuff like that. But at some point you hear something and it changes. It changes you, and it changes your thought of no longer cartoon theme songs or Sesame Street sing-alongs. It changes you, and you heard a song or you heard a band and you're like, I need to know more about what music really is. Do you remember in that time in your life when something may have changed, when you heard something different and just made you think differently?
Oh, totally. I mean, a huge one. So I grew up, like, I played piano. My grandma was a piano player, so I was always hearing those like choir songs with her. She played on Tuesdays with like a seniors choir. So cute, right?
Yeah.
So I would like go to those rehearsals and sit on the piano bench and absorb that kind of stuff. And she played like old honky tonk stuff too. But I think the coolest thing that happened, I was on a drive with my biological father, and he put on the Rolling Stones. And I don't even know what album it was. I know I later stole Flashpoint from him. But also a huge turning point was AC/DC.
Yeah.
The first song I learned was Hell's Bells.
Wow.
Like the
AC/DC, the band that all bands listen to before they perform.
Right?
Yeah.
But that was kind of the moment. And then my, I don't know why, but my uncle gave me an electric guitar and brought over an amp when I was like, I think I was 11 or 12. And that was kind of the moment when I had heard Rolling Stones, I had heard AC/DC, and then someone plugged me into an amp, and it was super loud in my parents' kitchen. And I remember just going like, whoa, this is the moment, this is the thing that I want to do. I couldn't make any, decent sounds at the time. I was just like probably ringing out with no hands on the frets, but like it just I felt something. I felt electricity. I felt, everything. Yeah, that's the moment.
That's fucking awesome. So you're 11 years old, you get this guitar and an amp, and you find all this music. Where did it lead you to next? Like, did you just start to try to figure out, or say, I want to go take guitar lessons, or just start to figure it out on your own, or search out other music like AC/DC and the Stones, or what happened after that?
Yeah, I mean, well, so my older cousin, she loved Green Day, so I stole Green Day Dookie from her and learned all those songs like right away, like just had to. And then the next, like, amazing,
great thing to learn with, because you got three power chords. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And when you learn something, you're like, oh my God, I actually did it. Like, I can't believe this. But at the same time as all that's going on, like, I also saw the movie Dazed and Confused.
Okay.
And so that whole soundtrack, like Slow Ride is on there.
You get the best of the 70s sound on that soundtrack.
Yeah. And then I had another friend's dad listen to blues only. So I got to go hear that there. And that's where I was like absorbing the blues from. And then at the same time, there's just like, background of always my grandma with the choir music and the honky tonk stuff. So I had this really weird and varied musical upbringing. And my parents actually did not listen to music at home, like very, very rarely. My dad he listened to like Stevie Ray Vaughan only when he was vacuuming the house, so it was hard to hear.
Why have music on at that time?
I know.
Yeah, so, you're going to drown out one of the greatest guitarists of all time with your vacuuming. So
I know, it's hilarious. So, but like, yeah, it's so weird now that I reflect on it as a professional musician, and I look back to my childhood. It's so weird for me to realize my parents didn't influence me in any way. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, taking it from what's around you, and that's why music is so important, and it's so personal when it comes to people, because no matter where you got it from, as long as you got it, and when you start to sit down and realize, and this is why I'm talking to you and asking you this stuff,
Mm.
is because it's crazy to see everyone's journey and how, I interviewed a guy and there was never an ounce of music in his house,
Mm.
but he's a musician and he writes songs and he's got 8 albums out, but he never had music around in his life until he like got to college.
Right.
So it's different for everyone, and that's you can see in your music too that you had that wide array of sounds and different types of music and genres, as we want to call them, of music when you start to put songs together.
Yeah. I no, it's so that's so accurate. I remember my first, like, when I went to New York to record with Gus Van Gogh, to record my first kind of Every Time My Mind Runs Wild is what the album's called.
Mm-hmm.
I remember showing him the songs and he'd be like, dude, there's like 9 chords in this song, but it's surprisingly musical, because I had this like strange, like classical jazz, honky tonk, and then like rock, blues, you know,
Yeah.
it totally makes sense now, of course. And that's how I love to write, is like taking from everywhere. Like, I'm not afraid to put like a jazzy or kind of chord in something, because it just goes with how I'm feeling.
So when you learn to start trying to do that and start trying to play and stuff, when did you really say, like, I'm going to make a go of this, and start to try to sit down and figure out that chord progression and start putting lyrics to what you're coming up with? When did that happen?
I'd say, I mean, like, I remember as soon as I picked up the guitar, I would literally play it after school. Like, I'd get off the bus, go home, play until I fell asleep, wake up the next day, play until I had to go to school, get off the bus, do the same thing again. Um, and I also loved the drums at that time. I mean, if we're talking Green Day, like, I remember I had drum lessons. I think I took 4 drum lessons and I wanted to learn a Green Day song.
Mm-hmm.
And the teacher was like, yeah, I would teach you this, but I think that guy's on speed. I was like, what speed? Because I was like 12. Um, but yeah, I mean, I remember air drumming myself to sleep too. Like, I was just like a rocker, I guess, from that age. But songs started coming, I think, when I was about 14. Um, and my parents, it's kind of funny to look back on it again. Like, my parents thought I had a friend over whenever I would sing, because they didn't know that I was singing. So I would shut my bedroom door and, sing stuff very quietly. Or if nobody was home, that was my time to kind of,
Let loose.
yeah. But I was really, really, really shy with it. I mean, up until I was probably 17 or 18. So they literally thought I had a friend. And my mom asked me one time, she's like, who's your friend with the nice voice that comes over? Like, what? What? But they didn't know, which was great for me, because I definitely needed the space. I mean, like a lot of kids, right? At 14, we're so, impossibly nervous about everything.
Yeah, I mean, everything you do at that age is you kind of think about it 48 times before you do it, and then you do it, and then you think about it another 148 times, and then you're still unsure.
And then you look back on it and go, oh my God, I did that. That's so awful. When really,
Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
yeah, doesn't matter at all.
So true.
So you're 14 and you're starting to put music together, and you're starting to try to figure this thing out. When was your first gig, like Battle of the Bands, or the first time you played in front of someone?
Yeah. So, I mean, I had done piano recitals, and to be quite honest, I was horrible. Every time I would have a piano recital, I would freak out because I was so nervous. And I also was doing a piano method where I only played by ear, even though they were making me read. I would like pretend to read the music, even though I had just like learned the piece by ear. So I would always freak myself out, forget the song, and screw it up ultimately. But so when I'm 14, I get in a band with this girl, Carly, and her dad is a drummer too. And he got a gig in the town that we're from called Waterdown. It's this old place called the American House. It was like a smoky kind of saloony bar. and we got to
Best kind.
open. Yeah,
Best
I
kind.
know, right?
Yeah.
So cool. And so we got to open. Um, and I mean, I can't remember the songs we played. I'm sure we were horrible, but I think, man, it was crazy to get up there in front of it was a packed bar.
Yeah.
So that was really cool, and it was an all girl band. It was me, Carly, and another girl. I think she played saxophone or something, and a bass player. It was just like classic stuff.
So you remember that feeling when you're done and walking off the little stage there? Do you remember that feeling?
You know what? It's almost like I remember my parents watching and going like, "Oh my god, what am I doing?" And then I think after it was just sort of it was so cute for people. Like I know people really loved it. Like we got big applause. It was mostly family, friends and stuff like that. So people knew who we were and what we were doing, and so I think that's what I remember the most is the outside kind of affirmations from people going, "That was really good."
Yeah.
Um, which thank God they said that, because if they didn't, I probably would have quit. you know?
Yeah. So, is was that the turning point where you wanted to make a go of it, or was it, a little bit further down the road?
Yeah, I think it was actually a little further. I remember probably at 15, I put on a huge show for all the local bands, like bands from around, probably within an hour of where I lived. Because I always used to go to these shows and see these bands and be like, oh my God, I'd love to just like play with them. So I'm like, okay, how can I play with these bands? I'll book a show for myself and then put myself on it. So we booked the same band, the girl band, and I think we were called Fuzzy Logic. Hilarious.
Okay, that's awesome.
um, but a friend of mine who's now like a good friend, he plays in a band called Monster Truck. Jeremy, the guitar player. I booked his band. So there's like 9 bands at this Legion Hall. The power gets shut off. The people are yelling at me, even though I've paid the $250 deposit or whatever. They're freaking out because it's so loud. But Jeremy's band plays. And then after, I remember I was sitting out on the steps at this like Legion Hall, and he just goes like, "Hey man, you got to stick with this. That was really good. You're a great singer. Like, just, you got to do this." And I think he was probably only 17, and I'm like 15 or 14. But him saying that to me really set me on the path, because, having validation from somebody that I respected, like a great guitar player that I loved his band. I loved, you know, so I think that was a big turning point where I decided I was going to stick with it.
Yeah, it's awesome that somebody told you that, and I think that's missing a lot in the world, especially with performers. I think, when you're performing, like I take a lot of pride in the fact that I got to see you after the show and tell you to your face that I thought you were a fucking rock star, because I don't think a lot of people get that a lot, especially when you're performing and you don't know all the time how you're reaching people. I think it's really important to have people come up to you and tell you that you're good and keep going and don't stop doing what you're doing, because I don't think a lot of people do that. And I think a lot of people give up. I think we probably missed out on a lot of great musicians because people gave up because no one came up to them and said, "Wow, you're awesome."
Yeah. I mean, I've met so many people like that in my travels, like people that I end up jamming with for whatever reason. I remember there was this one guy up in the Yukon in Canada, like far away from anything else. It's this town called Dawson City, straight out of the 1920s, like gold rush town. And this guy was playing blues guitar in one of the saloons. I was there for a festival, and he was like one of the best guitar players I'd ever seen. And I go up to him, I'm like, "Hey man, like what's your situation? Like, cool guitar." And he's like, "Oh yeah, some guy gave it to me. I didn't have one for years." Like, he literally just put it down and didn't play for years because he couldn't afford one. And like there's all kinds of people like that haven't received that affirmation. I think you're so right.
Yeah, it's a shame. It really is. I mean, especially nowadays when someone can put some garbage out on Bandcamp and just sitting there with a keyboard making, poop noises and stuff, and you call it music, and someone writes to him, dude, that's awesome, and I'm like, come on, guys, there's real talented people out there. What are we doing?
Yeah. I mean, like one thing when I first started kind of getting bigger in Canada, I think it was 2015, and I got a huge tour. Like literally, I remember my booking agent. I had just gotten a booking agent, and he put me in for this tour, and he said, "I'm putting you in, but you're not going to get it. There's no way, but maybe next time." I'm like, "Okay, cool." It was with this huge Canadian band called Blue Rodeo. They play like arenas across the country, and I got it. It was crazy. It was like the craziest thing that had ever happened to me. And
That's awesome, but the booking manager is saying you're not going to get it. I mean, well, thanks for the vote of confidence, but
I know. No, he said it in just a nice way because he was like, "I'm going to put you in for it. I don't think you'll get it, but that's okay. We'll go for next time." Because I was totally green at this point with touring and stuff. But apparently, they literally put on my record the two guys from the band, Jim and Greg, and they both were like, "Yeah, this sounds great. Let's have her." Like, even though I had no following, there was no reason to bring me out. Like, normally an opening band, you'll want them to draw or do something, give you something. I had nothing to offer. And then those guys taught me all about what we're talking about, like mentorship. And, they shared with me so many lessons about like, being on the road, helping young bands, talking to people younger than you after the show and like telling them they did a good job, just the stuff that we're talking about, and helping with gear. Like if something broke, they would help me, or their techs would help me, and they'd be like, "But you do this for the next person." That's kind of like how it works. It's a chain of helping people out and mentoring them.
That's I mean, for your first tour, that's unbelievable, because you could have got stuck with like how Soundgarden got stuck with Guns N' Roses and they got shit on all the time. You had people really willing to help you, which is amazing. And I guess you can see how that progresses and you keep going at it. I mean, what were your nerves like the first show of that tour?
Oh my God, it was insane. Also, that wasn't my first, I want to be clear, that wasn't my first tour, but it was my first like big time
tour. Yeah.
Like I'd never played a room like that. I'd probably played to like, I don't know, 500 people before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And this is playing like, the biggest show was 13,000.
Yeah. So, I mean, different nerves for 500 to 13,000.
Oh my God. It was crazy. I remember, the big show at the amphitheater in Toronto, that was the 13,000 people one. And I wrote a set list that I thought would be like, 35 minutes, 45 minutes or whatever. and we finished the set and I'm like, bam, like we just like rocked it. And apparently we played like 24 minutes because we were rushing through everything so fast. But like to me, I was like, oh yeah, we got this, man. We nailed it. But I'm glad we had that experience of that was the only time we sped up the set. Most other times we were right on because we wanted to be right on so that their techs would be happy with us. You don't want to piss off anybody.
Yeah.
When you're the opener.
So when it comes for you to start writing songs and writing for new album, I mean, do you have like a set process, or is it just, I look at singer-songwriters and, songwriters in general, that no matter what you're doing, you're kind of formulating a song in your head, whether you're cooking in the kitchen or taking a shower, you're kind of formulating songs. What's your process when it comes to coming up with new material or even your first material?
Yeah, I mean, I used to, if we're like rewinding to being a kid and writing my first sets of songs, that would definitely just be in my bedroom, just hanging and, getting an idea, having an idea come to me and then working on it. But as I progressed and as I started making records, especially once I made Every Time My Mind Runs Wild, that one I had to like really focus in on and be like, no, I'm going to actually try to write rather than just like let inspiration come to me.
Mm-hmm.
So with Consider the Speed, I mean, I literally blocked off like 2 or 3 weeks when I was at home in Hamilton, like off the road, finally, after such a long, crazy album cycle.
Yeah, you were on tour for a long time too, right?
Forever. It was awesome. It was like my first time, like that Posies tour that you saw me on. That was my first time across all of the states. Like I hadn't I hadn't seen a lot of it, so it was so awesome. Um, but man, like we were tired, like because we have a different kind of career in Canada, right? So on that tour, I remember one time we had to do 5 flights in 2 days to get up to a festival that we were booked at, and then come back down and like meet up in Cleveland or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
Like we'd play the night with the Posies, they'd take the day off, we'd go play a festival in Canada on that day off, and then come back and join the tour the next day. It was
Wow.
just, it was mental. It was
Yeah.
totally, but it was awesome. Like it was so good to have those opportunities coming.
Hmm.
And of course, man, now that it's like COVID times, how happy am I that I was so busy at one point?
Oh yeah, but probably you're a little bit happy too that you have that break too. I mean, if you toured like that, I mean, that's got to take a toll on not only the body but your mind and your soul of just being like drained.
Yeah, I was totally. So that's kind of what happened this with the Consider the Speed writing process. I was trying so hard, and I was psyching myself out. You know, like I didn't call my friends. Like I didn't tell my friends I was at home because I was trying to write. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to call anybody because you know as soon as that happens, and you're going out with your friends, or you're going out for coffee, or you're going out
Yeah.
for drinks or
Get
whatever.
sidetracked. Yeah, you get
Yeah,
sidetracked a little bit.
yeah. So I'm like, I'm sequestering myself from my friends, not talking to my family, like literally just like trying so hard. And I'm sure you can tell like that didn't work. I was like, why is nothing I'm coming up with any good? It's because I wasn't like inspired. I wasn't jamming with my band. Like, um, so I was just like working the whole time. And
It felt
then
like work instead of enjoying the process.
yeah. Yeah. And I mean, and the other thing is once you've had any level of success with a record, like the one previously was nominated for a Juno,
For
which is
Juno, yeah.
yeah. So that happened. And like, I think it was nominated for the Polaris Music Prize. I don't know. There were a bunch of things that happened, like award things. And that was like, that was also freaking me out because I'm like, okay, I have to write something that's like better than that. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
it reminded me of being a writer. Like, what if you have like a bestseller and then you have to follow it up? Like, it's insane pressure. Um,
Yeah, there's that old adage in music, right? That you have your whole life to make your first album and 6 months to make your second.
yeah.
Like that's
And
got
I,
to be insane.
yeah. And I also felt rushed. Cause like, you know, we got off the road and it's like, okay, you have to like come up with another one quick kind of thing from my management and other people. And it's not like that's abnormal. That's just how the music industry is now. Like we're asked to produce like on such a crazy level of like putting stuff out and putting stuff out and putting stuff out. And we never get a break. So I kind of actually, I don't want to say I put my foot down, but I was like, I need more time. I'm going to go down to Nashville and like sort myself out and sort out this writer's block and, you know, just try and get myself out of this Hamilton mode of being at home and like nothing coming to me,
Yeah.
you know? So that was powerful in itself just to, you know,
Pick
just
up
to,
and go.
yeah, it was awesome. And that's where everything started happening and all the songs started coming.
So just getting out of where you used to being into a new scene and looking for inspiration in other places. Can you kind of put a finger on? I mean, because a lot of times when people write, like you'll write a song and then it just it's a river. Things just start coming to you. Do you have a specific point in that process of the new album that just made it happen? Like you got to Nashville and things just started to happen with writing it?
Yeah, I mean, when you said it's like a river, I wanted to cry a river of happy tears. When I think about it, it's like, it's so beautiful. So I was in Nashville doing the same thing, like still freaking out.
Because you didn't
Uh,
take any of that pressure off yet. You thought going there was going to just do it itself, but you didn't take it off of yourself.
yeah, exactly. So I'm still sitting there being like, oh my God, all my friends here are great songwriters. Like, what am I doing? um, and, you know, just like the whole lack of confidence thing, even though you know, I don't come off like that in person. And I'm generally like a really happy person. I don't get depressed. Like I'm like, it was really weird for me. So I'm out on a Saturday in Nashville, had just seen a show and driving down the Franklin Pike, which is this like beautiful rural highway.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like mansions on both sides. Like it's so pretty. And I see out of nowhere these two horses in the middle of the road, like a mom and a smaller one, a baby. And I'm like, what the frig is going on? They're just like out by themselves. There's no one stopping their cars. Like nothing is happening here, but I'm worried they're going to get hit. So I'm like, what the fuck? I I end up calling the cops, and I'm so feeling weird about that now because like Black Lives Matter, all that stuff. I'm just like,
Yeah.
what? I called the cops. Like, come on.
Hey, I had a horse in my front yard once. I woke up and there was just a horse in my front yard. I called the cops because I didn't know what to do.
Right?
And yeah, and some guy drives by and goes, "Is that your horse?" I'm like, dude, no, it's not my horse. It's just a horse in my front yard.
Also, where aren't you in New York?
I live in New Jersey, and I live outside of the city by like 20 minutes.
Okay.
But I picked an area that's in the woods in New Jersey, the beautiful place of New Jersey, not what everybody thinks New Jersey is.
Mm-hmm.
Nice up in the woods. But yeah, there was a random horse in my yard one morning.
Because I was thinking that you lived like in New York, like proper. Like
yeah, no. I couldn't deal with that hustle and bustle in my life every day.
Can you imagine a horse being in someone's like front little garden in the middle?
Well, like, it could be. It could have gotten loose out of Central Park and just all of a sudden is eating your begonias out on your terrace. You never know.
I know. I'm okay. So I'm so glad we had that similar experience. Now I don't feel bad.
I mean, you saw Hot to Trot with Bobcat Goldthwait, right? Come on, did you? Probably not. Oh, it's one of the greatest movies of all time. John Candy's the voice of the horse, and he's in a skyscraper apartment. He's got a horse in it. Shit can happen.
Have to see it. Have to see it. Thank you. But so yeah, I see these horses. The cop comes, doesn't do anything. Eventually, I'm like trying to corral them just to get away from these, the cars and everything. And I literally thought, I'm like, should I go knock on one of these mansion door, the front door? It's a Saturday night. I'm like, I'll probably get shot because I'm in America. I have no idea. Like Canadians, we would just like leave our doors open and be like, hey, is this your horse?
Yeah.
But I know it's not like that in the States. So I did second guess myself and went, no knocking on people's doors. But kind of what happened because of that was I realized like that kind of shot me straight through to the exact present moment, like right in front of those horses on that road. Like I figured out I was living in the past. I was thinking about what had happened, like the pressure of what I'd done before with my records and like thinking about the future and like wanting the same kind of success with this record and freaking out about that. And I was never really just in the present moment. And 5 days after that, I wrote the song Two Wild Horses, which is the last track on the record.
Yeah.
And it's literally about like, it's about big stuff like grace. I never have even said the word grace, like, and then I made it as a lyric, like big, kind of self-actualization kind of stuff.
Yeah. Maybe because at that point, and listen, I'm no therapist or anything, but maybe at that point it's you were scared for something else and you weren't scared for yourself anymore.
Yeah.
That may have lifted a little bit of pressure off of you.
Totally. Okay. So now, dude.
All right. Listen, my psychiatrist hours are between 3 and 5. So if you want to book an appointment, we can do that then. But it's just my 2 cents, and it probably don't mean shit. But I just put it out there. Like,
I never thought of that. Like
you're telling the story.
Away.
Yeah. Like the horses took it away because you were scared for them at that point, and you were no longer scared of yourself or what you were going through. It was all of your energy and your maybe misery or your self-doubt was now forced onto them because you were worried about them.
Yes. Dude. Okay. Can you do all my interviews for me from now on?
Sure.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. And I mean, that tune as well, Two Wild Horses, about like, my life in Hamilton is in the second verse where it's like I'm staying up all night and going out drinking and like being totally wild and waking up with the birds, in the misty mornings, and then like reflecting on that time, like literally feeling like a ghost in my own city because I was only ever kind of out at night, like yeah.
Yeah,
It said all
that's
the things
awesome.
I wanted to say. Yeah.
No, I mean, that's an awesome analogy. Like that feeling like a ghost because you're only out. I mean, that's just. I mean, that stuff is really hard to put down, especially when you're just writing from full emotion, and it opens a door to people's souls. And sometimes I'm sure it could be hard for you to do that, to let people in through your music.
Mhm.
But that's why I always implore people to, when you listen to a song, you listen to it one way, and then sit down and read the lyrics, because you could hear it a different way, and you can also sometimes become that person in that song writing it at the time, and coming from what you were dealing with Two Wild Horses and putting it all together. I mean, it's just, it's touching. It's also self-reflective, and it could help other people out there.
Yeah. I mean, I do that all the time with songs. I mean, it's so funny sometimes hearing songwriters tell you what their songs are actually about.
Yeah.
Because you're like, no, that's not right. It's about your mom, or like, whatever you think it is what it becomes. And I love how songs can, they can take on a new life every time somebody interprets it a different way. And I'm super into that too. Like, if anybody thinks Two Wild Horses is actually about, like, I mean, I can't think of what else it would be about. But whatever it is for anybody, like, I'm
Yeah,
happy.
whatever it means to them. Yeah, that's why what I think is, I take ownership of what I listen to. When I'm listening to something, like right before you came on, I was listening to Ben Harper and the Blind Boys of Alabama.
Mhm.
And it's something that if someone walked into my house may not figure, be like, what are you listening to, dude? But it's one of those things, like, I take ownership of it because I love Ben Harper, and anything he does,
Mhm.
I listen to. And the Blind Boys of Alabama, and they're doing it together. And I'm like, yeah, this is so bluesy and soulful. It's got a little bit of the gospel mix in it, but I'm owning it at that time. Like, I love it, and it's meaning something different to me. Like, it was getting me pumped up to talk to you, someone
Yeah.
who's soulful and plays the blues. And that's, if you can't take ownership or like what you're listening to, then it's a tough thing. And some people listen to music just to hear music and tone, and that's awesome. I like that deeper dive, like what we're doing right now, talking about
Mhm.
it, discussing how you come up with it.
Yeah. I mean, I do the same thing sometimes. Like, one of my favorite records to, like, lay down on the floor and take in with closed eyes is Talk Talk, Spirit of Eden. It's like so cool just to, like, completely absorb that music, and not
Yeah.
be doing anything else. Like, I don't often do that, but I mean, when I do, it's almost like uh it's like drinking a really good coffee or something. You're just, like, vibrating, like buzzing, you know what I mean? When
Yeah,
you
just
absorb music that way.
you can feel it through from your head to your toes. You can
Mhm.
feel it. And I like to put on a couple candles and throw on a record, and and just be like, okay, this is what I'm doing now, and I'm going to appreciate it for what it is. And other times, you got a party going on and you got music on, and no one's really paying attention, but they hear it, and then they hear a song and they like it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you wrote that, you got the inspiration from a couple of horses on the side of the road. I think that's an awesome story. What I want to ask you about, because I think it's really important, and I hope you're extremely proud of it, that you were the first female recipient of the Canadian Independent Music Association Road Gold distinction, and that's because of how much you toured.
Mhm.
I mean, what's that like when you're noticed for something like that? When you get noticed and, like, all your hard work is, you saw it pay off, and you see it pay off in different ways. But I mean, what was that feeling like?
Oh, it was amazing. I mean, I was working so hard at the time I got that. I remember not even really being able to stop to even think about it, just going like, "Oh yeah, that's cool." I don't think I actually knew I was the first female recipient.
You're the first female recipient.
Well, that's rad. That makes
Yeah.
me happy. Yeah, I mean, it always felt good, and it sort of, even if it doesn't legitimize my career for me, it helps, like, people like my band or my managers or, like, my booking agent, like, they feel really good about it too. And I think there are so many people in this industry that are working that aren't musicians, and like everyone, like literally all of them are struggling right now. Like even the venue owners, like people like that.
Oh yeah, there was a compilation that's coming out for the roadies in bands.
Yeah,
And a
and
bunch of
that's
bands that got
like the
together to
crew.
put it out. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. But I mean, so all of those people, I think those awards like speak, of course they speak to me and like I'm so grateful for them, but I know that it really helps like the whole crew, like your whole entourage of people. And so that felt really good for me to kind of get that for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Does that make
this is
sense?
awesome talking to a selfless rock star right now.
I like fucking Rockstar better.
Yeah. Okay, a
It's
selfless
cooler, dude.
fucking rock star. No, it was my pure emotion at the time when I said it, when I saw you. It's because that's how I felt, because you just blew my mind.
Oh, thanks, man.
So you get recognition like that. I mean, it's got to give you a little boost and everybody around you a little boost to keep going, especially through those hard tours. I mean, have you kind of enjoyed this quiet time at all, or has it kind of made you a little, I I guess I'd say scared about what's to come? But have you kind of had an opportunity to sit back and reflect on, what you've done, or are you always looking for the next thing?
I think, I mean, especially in the first part of the pandemic, I was
You were
super,
mixing, right?
I was
So
mixing, but I was also like, like tons of writing because I hadn't been locked in my own apartment for ever,
yeah.
for more than like a couple weeks. Like I was at the point where I couldn't buy like milk or eggs, because I would come home and they would go bad. So I'd be like, okay, I'm not doing that anymore. Like I was just gone all the time. Um, so being here for a little while, I feel like I wrote like a whole new a whole new record almost immediately. But of course now, getting ready for Consider the Speed to be released, like that took up most of the summer. We recorded some wicked music videos with a buddy who is American but had come up to Canada because of COVID. So that was like a super happy coincidence.
Did he
So we
sneak
worked.
in?
No, he's
Oh, okay.
Canadian. So yeah, it's all
Oh,
good.
okay. I was
But
gonna say, because
yeah,
I know people weren't allowed in.
yeah, no,
I didn't
no.
want you to blow up someone's spot right now and be like,
Can you
this
imagine?
American crept in over the border.
I will say his name and and social insurance number now. No, I'm just kidding. Um, yeah, so that was super super rad to be able to work in that capacity. And I mean, the other thing that's cool that I'm going to continue to do, people started asking me to produce their records, and I found out like I'm actually good at that. I didn't know, like I'd kind of been producing lightly my entire career. I just thought like, oh yeah, I like that drum sound, like, or I want to layer this guitar part or whatever. Like I was always coming up with ideas that are based in production, but I didn't name it as that. And I think honestly, part of that is because there aren't a lot of women producers. So like we often don't
Associate
kind of,
yourself with it, or
yeah,
even think that could be something you could do.
we don't take ownership, and it's almost like an unsaid thing. You're just like, oh no, I'm not producing, like this person's producing. Um, so that's been really powerful for me too, to sit in the driver's seat. Yeah,
Good for you. I mean, good. I mean, that's awesome. I mean, that's
thanks.
amazing. I mean, that's just another step in what you're doing. And I mean, now speaking with you and showing how much you care about other people, this is just another way for you to help them. I mean, that's, producing a record is you're just helping that artist get the best out of them.
Totally. And I mean, sometimes for me, it's an excuse to layer ridiculous guitar harmonies, which I also like because I'm super into Thin Lizzy.
So do you have a specific instrument you like to write music to? I mean, you're saying it's funny how many people I talk to and have been doing this and having conversations with where everybody starts off with piano. But do you have do you have a specific guitar that you like to write with, or is there something that just helps you get the music out, or is it just a variety?
Yeah. I mean, when I first, right before that Blue Rodeo tour I was telling you about, this woman who is a luthier in Waterloo, her name's Ashley Leanne. She was kind of just starting out making acoustics. So she came to me and was like, I want to make you one. It'll be totally custom. So like she put my tattoo on it and surprised me like as an inlay, and like all these beautiful trees and stars. Like It's such a beautiful guitar. So that's my acoustic that I write on. But my Aunt Teresa, who's a badass honky tonk guitar player who toured everywhere in the 70s, she just gave me her 1971 Fender Telecaster that she doesn't use anymore.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's been my thing, and it was so serendipitous. She gave it to me about a month ago at a distance show. We were doing like drive-in shows and an outdoor show as well, about 6 hours away from here. Anyway, I played a Telecaster all over the record. That wasn't mine. I borrowed it from my buddy, so it was like crazy serendipitous that she gave me the exact guitar that I'd been wanting that I couldn't possibly get during COVID. Like it's
Yeah.
the 70s telly. Like I didn't look it up. I don't want to know how much it would cost me to get, but it's a really good gift.
That's awesome. I mean, and it is. I mean, that's full circle. If you're recording with that type of guitar and that's what you want and you can't get it, and all of a sudden, hey, here, this is for you. I mean, wow.
It knocked me out. She gave it to me at the beginning of my set that I was doing at the show with the band. The guys are there too. And I'm like, please don't give this to me now. I'm going to cry through the entire set. I have to rock. But it was, it was really something. So that's been one I definitely like to write with. And I've been having a habit. I'm sure everyone, a lot of songwriters do this, but sometimes it's only when I'm about to fall asleep at whatever time, like midnight, sometimes 3 a.m, and then I have to get out of bed because I have a song idea.
I keep a notepad and paper right next to my nightstand because ideas come to me in all different ways. And if I forget them, sometimes, when you dream in movies and then I write down a movie idea, I'll wake up all of a sudden and I'll just jot down some things so I can remember it the next day. I realize it was a really shitty movie, but it's just having those ideas and having that pen and paper by your bedside at all times so you don't have to run downstairs and put it to music. Try to do that sometime.
Yeah, that's a good idea too.
So we are going to come in on some time. I don't want to keep you all day. I mean, I could talk to you for hours. But one of the last couple things I want to ask you is, do you have, I mean, I have way too many. Do you have a favorite band or something that you just honestly constantly go back to and it's your favorite thing to over and over listen to?
Yeah. I'd say the T-Rex album, The Slider. Every single time.
Awesome.
Yeah. It's one of my favorites. And
that'll fall into the category of what I would usually follow us up with like unskippable albums from song 1 to however many songs, song 12 on the album. Like you just can't turn a song off.
Yeah, you can't.
Awesome. All right. So we are going to come in and end this. But how we end every week, it's our weekly threes. I have 3 and I need 3 from you. 3 things you're listening to right now.
Okay.
Or could be new, could be old, anything. 3 things you're listening to right now that you'd want people to listen to.
Okay. What are your 3? Do I get to hear yours first?
No, I go after you.
Okay. Hang on. I'm not going to go over my record. Let's see. Okay. Leon Russell and the Shelter People.
Okay.
It's a wicked record, but the coolest song on there, I think, is a cover of Bob Dylan's Hard Rain's Gonna Fall. Right. It's so cool. Nina Simone, Shake Down and Let It All Out. Also a rad track.
I have that record.
It's on Wild as the Wind.
Yep.
And third thing, I'm going to say, if we want to go, you know what? I do want to say this. My friend, she's Canadian, The Weather Station. It's kind of out there. It's a song called The Robber. It's really a crazy statement on capitalism and like what's happening in the world. But it sounds to me like modern day Talk Talk.
Okay. Awesome.
I know we talked about Talk Talk before, so that's what I would love to share with people.
That's awesome. Something for me to listen to after this.
Yeah.
So my 3 for this week, my first one is a band called The Stereo. They were a pop rock, pop punk, emo / alternative band in late 90s, early 2000s. Their album 300 I suggest everybody listen to it. Next is Donovan Woods,
Ooh, he's
Canadian
my
singer.
friend.
Yeah, he's awesome. I want to try to get in touch with him to do this. I saw him open for Rustin Kelly,
Yeah,
and he was not only a great performer, singer songwriter, but he was fucking hysterical throughout
he's
his
so
entire.
funny.
So funny. I mean, amazing. I was just like, I was blown away. I'm like, and I saw him at the Bowery too. So that was, it's my venue that I love so much.
Awesome.
So Donovan Woods, and then last but not least, band called Low, Low.
Mm.
Been around for a very long time. Started in the early '90s. They're out of Minnesota. They're slowcore, slow tempos, minimalist arrangements. But it's if you just want to chill, have a glass of wine, and have a candle on, you put on Low. It'll change your fucking life. So that's my three. So Tara, tell everybody how to find you, how to find your stuff. We're gonna, promote the shit out of the album for you as well. But tell everybody what you're doing. I know you're locked in your house probably, but things that you're doing, how to find you, how to reach you, and how to get the music.
Yeah. Okay, so my website is terralightfoot.com, and it's Terra like terracotta and Lightfoot like Gordon, even though we're definitely not related. I have an Instagram page, which is Instagram/Terra Lightfoot, probably, along with like Facebook and all the other things that people have. Um, and coming up, I'm just doing like a bunch of online festival kind of spots. So if you're watching my page, then you can I'm doing an hour-long performance for the South County Fair coming up. So there's a ton of stuff like that I'll be posting about. And also we have Blue Oceania vinyl of Consider the Speed and like a ton of other merch and stuff that you can get from my website. So, but I'm stoked on the blue vinyl and how good it sounds, even though it's like not just the regular 180 gram or whatever.
Dope. Awesome.
Yeah. Cool.
All right. So everyone, Terra Lightfoot, thank you so much for doing this. Everybody rush out. Consider the Speed is the name of the new album. Go out and listen to it. Go back, listen to all of her other shit. That's how I got into it. Great singer-songwriter. I want everybody to go out there, listen to her. And as I always say, and we end this, everyone just go out and have a great time.